I might be with her on that. Like, it don't look like something I want to. Wait, when you watch this back, you're gonna be like, she's a fool. When you watch this back, you're gonna be like, she is a fool. Okay. Are you out there? Welcome back to our channel. I am Intisar Eleanor, officially Connor, and official like a ref with a whistle. I am back with my beautiful husband, Joseph Conner.
Hey.
And we are talking all things Married at First Sight. Okay, so are you guys ready? So we are back, Married at First Sight. This is season 16, episode 3.
Yeah.
I believe. And we are still marrying couples off.
Yeah. It's just one of those things where I'm glad that everybody else can see now that they are slow walking this and we're all ready to move on. I looked on Twitter and I saw a bunch of other people talking about how we just spent a whole segment watching people take pictures at one point. It was literally just pictures.
There's so much about this particular episode that I really want to dig into. Like, I just want to give some notes to production.
Yeah.
Just a few notes, because I feel like one, by overproducing, they take some of the reality out of the actual show. And one of the things that I saw that was overproducing overarchingly is when they were asking people
about sex.
Yes.
And forcing them they were forcing them to ask their friends about their sex lives. Everybody said it at the same time in the show.
Everybody.
That's not real. We don't need to overproduce this.
I don't like it. It made me uncomfortable. So many cringy moments in this episode for me.
And it's just not organic. Like, your friend walks down the aisle, back down the aisle from marrying a stranger. Your first question isn't, so y'all gonna have sex tonight?
It is not.
That's not your first question at all.
It is not. But I also think, and you and I spoke about this a bit, that people, when they respect you, they respect your spouse.
Right.
And nobody would ask you that about your husband or wife.
No.
Unless y'all got pineapples outside. Yeah, or flamingos. You know what I mean? And I'm not, if you're not grown enough to understand it, I'm not explaining it.
Well, we did already
explain it. But so we might have some newbies here. And if you're new, do me a favor and subscribe to this channel, because it don't cost you a mammy tat and penny. But yeah, I want to dig into all of the things that I thought were a little bit cringy. But let's start with... We're going to start out of order. So we're going to start with Clint and Gina, because they didn't give much. Right?
Yeah.
Clint and Gina didn't give much of anything. What was fascinating is we had this conversation around men feeling intimidated. And
y'all, what's her name? Gina? Gina just proved us right.
Which I don't know that we were wholly right about this. I think there's so many different perspectives about men or women feeling intimidated by their spouse.
Yeah, but we were right with this. So here's the thing. We were speaking specifically to the incident that happened in this show with this particular person. Mm-hmm. We really don't care about nobody in the comments that feels triggered or guilty about something. You know what I mean? Like, that's not really, the concern is not you. Most of y'all in the comments, not even on YouTube, like, because y'all was tussling in other comments on Twitter and TikTok and we don't even know y'all. So you don't even, you're telling on yourself, some of y'all that was so triggered. The truth of the matter is, if you watch this episode and you saw Clint's face
Yeah.
When Gina is babbling about her job, and you go back to the intimidation comment, this is what we were talking about. It's the meme. It's the guy. This is it, yo.
But I do think
this is what we talking about. He does not care. But he does not care. I need to insert it again.
Oh my God.
We do not care right there.
But wait, no, what I think the bigger thing here is to like really overarchingly, I do think there are a population of men who do say these things, and women for that matter. Maybe not so much, but when we're talking about this, we're talking about the man-woman dynamic. They shouldn't be the man that you're vying after, period. Like if somebody says that to you and you're in a space and you being bossy, you living your life, you doing your thing, whoop de whoop de whoop, and somebody feels intimidated by your lifestyle or anything like that, it just isn't the person for you. Because the man that comes into your life, what you have won't be something that he's vying after any damn way.
But most of the time, I found that these claims are unfounded, and a lot of times it's a cop-out and a deflection on some other type of personal behavior, personal a flaw that's happening that somebody does not want to acknowledge.
I think that's too far.
It's not. We just saw what Gina did in the first conversation with her. She will walk away. Now, say they were dating, right? This is what I'm speaking to.
Okay.
This is exactly what I'm speaking to. Not you and not Keisha in the comments who are triggered because she can't keep a man. Because that's not who I'm talking to. We're talking about people who know what's going on, who watch the show, who understand this dynamic. Now, say Clint and Gina had just met at a bar. She sat down at the bar and talked for 10 minutes about her job before he even got a word in. And say he got up and walked away. Gina will walk to a friend and say, he couldn't hang with me because he was intimidated by me. That's the dynamic that I'm talking about. Because I've seen it play out, and I'm like, no, sis. You overtalked him about your job for 30 minutes. He's annoyed by you.
He's trying to ask you what your sign is.
Exactly, and that's what I'm talking to. Too many times. It is a deflection. Too many times it's a cop-out to mull over whatever piss poor day.
I think there's something to that.
I see it all the time, especially on these shows.
I do think there's something to that, but we did just watch a show. We've been watching Ready to Love, y'all. We did just watch a show where I saw a man tell a woman he was intimidated by her. He was first of all, he was flirting, number one, and number two, he was on a date with her and continued on the date. We're talking about people who says, I do not want to talk to this woman because that was my comment. But you don't think
my initial comment, and it stands true to this day, was I've never heard a man say I don't talk to her anymore because she was too intimidated. But that guy was flirting. He was on a date.
But you don't think when she walks away from the situation, if they no longer date, that her narrative is going to be that he was intimidated by her.
In that situation,
and he told me he was intimidated.
And that again, full context, they were flirting. So in that situation, the whole relationship would have to play out for that for us to dig deep into that. Yeah. But what I'm talking about specifically is conversations and behaviors like that, to where somebody walks away and completely uses it as an excuse, completely mulls over actually having some type of introspective to go, maybe I did this wrong, or maybe this was the dynamic. It's like when people walk away from a relationship and you say, why did y'all break up? And everything they say is about the other person.
You know,
that's just not real life.
It's not real life.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's not real life.
You broke up because at some point there was something that both of you contributed that called in some way.
And the truth of the matter is, that's most endings of relationships that both people contributed. There is a percentage of which, of course, there's standard error.
Right.
But you're absolutely correct. It takes two to tango.
Yeah.
And two people to have a relationship and two people to see through to the demise of it. The most part.
It's the same thing. It's the same as if a man were to walk away and say, you know what, she just can't handle me.
But I don't want to be.
Can she not handle you, or is it because you didn't pay her any attention? You know what I mean? Like,
I don't listen to men's complaints, so I wouldn't know. It's literally like the Charlie Brown teacher. If a man complains, wah 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 wah, I'm like, yeah. I am not even lying.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
No. It's just about accountability.
It is, but I do think
to me, it's that is a sidestep. Most 9 times out of 10 when I've heard it, it's a sidestep to accountability.
Back to Clint and Gina, she did lead with her
job,
and I don't understand why.
Because just like I said, there is a a demographic of people. There is a large demographic of people who feel like the narrative that somebody of the opposite sex is intimidated by them makes them feel good about themselves. And nine times out of 10, it's because these people are putting their worth into their work. And
I think it's more
where it's born.
I think that sometimes the career becomes your identity when in fact your career is just your career. But like who you are should be separate and apart from what you do. That's what I'm saying.
They're connected. Those are the people. The people whose worth is only wrapped up in their career lead with this type of stuff. Yeah. And then it becomes this crutch for relationships. It becomes this crutch for other responsibilities in life, and that's what we're talking about.
It was just a fascinating thing. I'm still not 100% sold on Clint. Something about him I find rather disingenuous, smug. But not even smug. That is the word. And
I thought it was smug to show up to your wedding and not put on a tie.
It is smug. Your shirt. It is smug. It is smug. This isn't important to me. It's only important to you. Yeah. It is smug, but I do think that I like the way they look at each other, and I like her mouth. But you all already know that. So let's move on. Christopher and Nicole didn't give much, but gave just enough. Nicole is going to give
a lot. She's doing too much.
She really can't help her. But you know what's very clear to me? It's so funny because you see these people. Sometimes you see like these dating archetypes too. We were talking about last time these character archetypes that, Married at First Sight gives us. But I think there's kind of like dating archetypes too. Like the fact that Nicole hasn't found somebody, but found her person. You know what I mean? The person that she wants to move forward with, or they want to move forward with, is very clear to me. I find her to be over. She's just got too much energy, and not even like in a good way, like in a way that like she sucks up the air in the room.
1,000%. And she's at the table talking about how he talks too much.
Was that weird? But okay. So when I saw it, because I watched this twice, as you guys know, when I saw it, I thought, is she saying it like, oh, he talking too much? Or is she saying it like, we both talk a lot? We both talk a lot.
I felt she was saying it like, I want more time to talk. Like, I'm the talker and this time belongs to me. So, and it was just like very...
That's weird.
It is weird, but it also... I've met a Nicole before, and it's par for the course. Like it's not that they feel like all of a sudden now they have this newfound area of social cue awareness. Mm-hmm. No, it's that their space is now being their space is shrunk because there's somebody else that's taking up real estate in the room, and they don't like that. I'm praying for Chris because it's gonna get weird. It's going to get weird real fast.
I think it's going to get weird real fast, but I also think they're going to have a wonderful sex life. Not that it's any of my business, but she seems like a good time. She seems like a good time. She seems
like she will also overwhelm him in the bedroom.
But who don't want to be overwhelmed in the bedroom?
No, that's not necessarily a great thing. You want to match that person's energy. I don't mean overwhelmed in a good way.
Oh. I'm like, sounds right to me.
No.
So she meets his friends, and I thought that they were such sweet women. There was such a parallel between her speaking with his friends and I believe sister, and Jasmine speaking with Eris's cousin. Not so much the mom because she was 4, but the cousin. And I felt like, it was really nice to see women just support other women, despite the fact that their what's the word I want to use? Their loyalties may lie with Christopher. It just was nice to see them encourage her and be encouraging to her in this journey, because this was really an episode of people insisting on providing their opinions about what they would do in other people's lives.
Another I told you so moment.
It was weird.
We talked about this last video.
It was weird.
We talked about this last video with people and feeling like your new spouse, in the sense of Christopher and Eris, is encroaching on their real estate and their sibling or whatever, cousin or whatever. We talked about it before, and that was another area where people wanted to tussle about, and they were proven wrong once again.
But we're going to get there because I really want to dig into that. But is it me, or was Nicole's dad a little bit, he had a little battery in his back?
He was doing too much. He was doing way too much. It was just the people that's coming in with all of the negative energy.
You know what the problem I have with this whole situation
Selfishness.
is? One, it's unbelievably selfish. Imagine on your wedding day, somebody, even if you don't know this person, I have to trust that I've raised an individual smart enough, with the wherewithal enough, everything enough to let them go out in the world and make piss poor decisions. They ain't going, like, you know what I mean? The worst thing that could happen is they get locked up. But the best thing that could happen is that they meet the love of their life and they move on. And the truth of the matter is, it'll probably be more towards that spectrum than it is this one, right? So it's like, for me, I take so much issue with the way these people. Even the thought of a person coming up to me and talking to me about how they think, my son, I'm still a little nervous because I don't know if I want to push him out there like that. I will really be checking people, but I got that spirit on me. I tell people all the time, 8 to 80. My mother raised us a certain way. So if you say something I don't like, I'm just going to let you know. I don't give a fuck. I'm trying to stop using the F word. Please take that out. I don't care who you are. And that's just because I think respect is due a dog. I respect little people and I respect big people. I think that to get in somebody's face and then try to say, well, I don't know if you're a criminal or not, I would have politely said, I don't know anything about your daughter either. I don't know if you raised a thief, a liar, a whore. I'd have said all of that right to that man's face. And then what? Because now I want you to know we drawing a line in the sand. You have to respect me and I shall respect you. Yeah. But you will not come out here and be just sitting up and saying, first of all, I don't even know this hoe.
Yeah. I'm big on keeping the same energy. So I feel like you are due the respect that you give. And for me, it really matters not your feelings. And it's really, respectfully, it doesn't matter your feelings. It's really about the time and place. There's a time and place for everything. And 2 minutes before I'm about to walk down the aisle to marry a stranger is not the time for you to unload your opinion, your unfiltered negative opinion on me on my wedding day. And like I said in the past video, comments on TikTok and Instagram and whatever, these people are selfish. And a lot of this is born from their selfish thought process of what they would do, or what their disdain for the fact that their person, their daughter, sister, cousin, whatever, is doing something that they didn't advise them to do. And they are offended by that. Do you think,
because I think it's that, but do you also think it has to do with they don't think that these people make good decisions? Because if somebody would have said that to me, I would have politely said, it's very clear to me how you feel about this person and their decision making. But I don't know them yet, so I'm still trying to get to know them. I recognize that you have some apprehensions, but about the way they live their life. Because the truth of the matter is, to your point, this is really none of your business. And how I live my life as an adult, also none of your business.
Right.
So it's like, you know what I mean? If you really feel this strongly about it, it says more about you, the way you think about my decision making, than it does the actual decision. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think that for me, it's more about playing the percentages. More times than not, this is really about people being upset that their loved ones are not heeding their advice. You know what I mean? To me, a lot of times this has less to do with the respect of that person's decision making, and more to do with the fact that they think they're due more respect than somebody saying, oh, I hear your opinion and I'm gonna go do what I want to do.
Yeah.
Why? They're an adult. Why do you think somebody...
He's 34 years old. You think you're going... I just can't. But that's how I know you don't think he a man. Because it's like things like that. At 34 years old, he ain't 25 like she is.
Right.
He's 34.
It's about them. I'm telling y'all.
The bull, what's his name? Eris is 39 years old. Imagine questioning. Imagine you're 39 years old and somebody's questioning your decision. Imagine.
But just like I said, people do this all the time. And it's more about the person than it is about the subject at hand. It was very clear with Eris's cousin, with, I don't know if that was Nicole's father, and whoever else. It was more about them as an individual.
Like, she's obviously hell on wheels.
Right.
It's apparent. Right. And you're worried about how I'm going to treat her? It's
clear that it was more about them and them being heard and you doing what they would do. I mean, we see it all the time. And like I said in the last video, this expands far past relationships, jobs you take, places you move. I see family members tussling with people all the time simply because they quit one job and went to another job. This is not about Eris. This is not about Nicole. This is what I've been telling you. We see this all the time.
Pay a goddamn
at
bill.
all, but we see this all the time. People getting upset about you making a move that really doesn't even affect their life
at all. And I get it. It's empathy wrapped up in there somewhere, but it's just like, y'all got to learn to mind your business.
Period.
So I want to talk a little bit more about Mac. It's giving racial. I don't know. First of all, I could tell. I can't read Mac or Dominique, but I don't feel like they have great chemistry.
They don't.
Okay. But I do think that they are attracted to one another. It's weird. I think that they are attracted to one another.
I don't think he's attracted to them.
I think you could be sexually wanting to put your... I think you could want to penetrate somebody, but not have chemistry with them.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Why are you making that face? I said that right, didn't I?
Yes.
I think it's something to that. I think that I think his picker is lifting. I just don't think that they actually have chemistry. Like, chemistry is palpable. You can see, like, people walk up to us all the time and like, oh my God, like, y'all look like y'all having so much fun with each other. Like, you know what I mean? Sometimes you can see it. It's almost an aura, and they don't have it. Like, in a way that I think Clint and Gina, like, it's palpable. I don't see that for Mac and Dominique. I thought it was weird that her mom was questioning it because her mom signed her up for the process, right? Busty and let us know, because I almost remember them saying the mom signed.
Her mom did say her mom signed her up.
So then now, how you
and she was so anti on the wedding day. Again,
talking about he might be Jeffrey Dahmer.
This is another person on the wedding day wanting to insert themselves in everything. We don't need your opinion before and after the ceremony. We don't need what your opinion is on them making this, or what your opinion is on him being Jeffrey Dahmer. Like, this just isn't the day for this.
Right. And everybody is somebody's baby. So I'm just so over my child, my baby. I'm tired.
I can't with that.
I'm tired. So for me, it's like, if you guys, you can't be talking about, well, we black, and you sitting at the table with a white man.
That, y'all.
And I mean that with all due respect. I don't have no problem with people dating outside they race. Black girl, get what you gotta get. But my thing is, it feels a little bit.
You're acting. You're doing a lot for the cameras. I felt like that's how it came off to me. It felt like you was doing a lot for the cameras. Like, what are you talking about? You so concerned about him being accepting
being Jeffrey Dahmer. You sitting at the table.
And not only that, being accepting of race, and you sitting here with this white guy, which is cool, do you? But it just felt real, like, hypocritical. Like, what are you talking about? That's what it felt like.
Because if you're, she is biracial. Right. So if we're talking about a biracial woman dating a white man while her black mother is still dating a white man.
Right. And her mother is biracial.
No, her mom's not biracial.
No, not her mom's mom. She's biracial, I think.
No, her mom's not biracial.
She looks like it.
No, her mom said she 100% black. You remember they were sitting there and she said, we are 100% black.
No, she didn't say 100%. She said, we are black.
100%.
Yeah.
She said, we are black. 100%.
We'll figure it out. Her mama definitely looks blackity black, but she doesn't look like, but we'll figure it out.
Right. I might be confused about
I think you are.
I might be a little bit confused. Dominique is mixed.
Yes.
Right?
That we know.
Okay. Y'all tell me who right and who wrong, because y'all know I got to be right. Okay. So they go through that or whatever the case may be. I did think it was a little odd that her mom was like having all these apprehensions after she was the one who signed her up, but I guess I get it. You know what I mean? I guess. What else did I have to say about Mackenzie? Also, everyone need a girlfriend like not Mackenzie, Dominique's girlfriend.
Who's Dominique's girlfriend?
The one who was like, you're beautiful, you're smart, you're intelligent, you're funny, your breath smell good, you got good boobs. The one that was giving her, everybody need a girlfriend like that. Because I was sitting here like, this woman likes women. Okay? She loving on her too good. And I mean, I need one too. I need one to love on me like that. Because I thought it was really sweet. But I also thought it was very over the top.
It is, but that's her homie and she should be riding for her like that. It's weird because I saw something random the other day on social media where somebody said you ought something like full disclosure, you need to you also gotta protect yourself from people who pump you up because ego is the devil or some shit like that. And I'm like,
oh my God, people so over the top.
Girl, shut up. I'm sorry. Like, what are you talking about?
You need a girlfriend like that.
But you need people. This is a big world of people who tear you down and tell you no. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't understand why you took your time out of your day to get on social media to tell people that they need to distance themselves from people
who support
them and pump them up and make them feel good. In a world where it's just, especially, she was a brown girl. So especially for us, it's a different type of America.
You gotta be worried. You know what?
Girl, I'm sorry.
I'm just gonna start asking y'all to read out loud.
What are you talking about?
I'm just gonna start asking people read out loud.
But keep your thoughts to yourself. I am
literally done listening to y'all. If y'all cannot read a full paragraph out loud, you don't get to have an opinion. Okay,
and
like
everybody.
Period.
Everybody doesn't need to hit the online waves with their opinion.
It's just not up for debate.
Like, it's okay. You could have texted that to your girlfriend. But that was dumb.
Right, because it sounds personal. It sounds niche. Yeah, like, this is very specific. This feels specific. You know what I mean?
What are you talking about?
I don't. So let's talk about Eris and Jasmine. I really love that name, Eris. The cousin said, this is laughable. Like, and I just thought, we were watching the after show and Shaquille said he felt like if anybody was going to be there and not be 10 toes down, they just shouldn't have been at the wedding.
Period.
When I tell y'all that was the standard for my wedding, it was really like, if I don't know you, I don't give a. Joe wanted to invite everybody that went to Berkeley. If I don't know you, you can't come. I don't care. You had to have been in my space, eating my food, whatever the case may be. And if you hadn't, you can't come. Also, because I'm big.
Everybody went I did.
If don't get me started about this wedding. It was a wedding.
Our wedding was amazing, guys. If anybody, just full disclosure, you can go back. We posted the video for any of our new followers because we have some new subscribers. And thank you guys for jumping in. But we also have a wedding video. Go check it out. It was an amazing time. It
was a great time, but. Yes, I felt like for her to say that, again, this is the underlying theme of the episode, was just completely out of line. And I think he did a good job of telling her, like, do you have anything positive that you want to say? He asked her straight up, do you have anything positive that you want to say? I thought that was a really good way to say you're talking negatively.
You're doing too much.
It was a good way to do that.
It was made very clear that she was doing too much, and it was about her and not about Eris.
It got weird.
When she sat down with Jasmine.
And gave her the ice grill.
The whole time. The whole entire time. Like, did she smash your ex or something? Do y'all have some type of... I would have been like, what's happening here? Is there something happening that I don't know about? But this is another I told y'all so moment, comment section. Because... it was very clear. If you didn't know it before this moment and you had because we had some question about, well, maybe it's about Eris being a bad person, blah, blah. And I said, that's not it. I said, I'm playing the percentages, and the percentages say that 9 times out of 10, this is about her being the cousin and less about Eris. And then she sat down in front of this girl who she had just known for 2 minutes. Woman. And grilled her like she just stole jewelry from her house. But it was so weird.
So this is my thing. She definitely knows something about Eris that we don't know. That's number one.
What do you mean?
I feel like...
No, she doesn't.
When I mean... Well, she does, because that's his cousin.
No, I mean...
what I'm saying is...
I mean in a negative way.
I think that she is privy to how he operates in relationships. I do think she's privy to that. So I think her when she was initially giving her 2 cents prior to him getting married, that's what I kind of got. Like, I don't want you going there and messing up nobody's life. You are not ready for that. That's the energy I got.
That was a question, right? That was a question posed in that scene. And what I'm saying is this scene with this interaction with Jasmine confirmed that that's not what that was about.
And that's what I'm getting at. I agree, because I don't understand why, if you felt like he wasn't ready, why would you talk to this girl?
Why would you talk to her like that? Why would
you give her that energy? It is her wedding day. At the very least, y'all have to remember that they have to tell y'all that this stuff is real, right? So if this person goes on to be madly in love with this woman,
like Woody,
or vice versa, why would you feel like you would give a negative opinion? I would want to err on the side of caution. It's so funny. My mom used to say, even as a kid, I used to be so mad at Joe or so angry or whatever, and just going through the emotions as a teenager. And my mom would be like, I don't like to get involved with affairs of the heart. Like, I can't tell you not to talk to him. I want to. I can't tell you not to see him. I want to. But I'm also very well aware of the fact that if you want to do something at your big age of 16, 17, 18, you're going to do what you want to do. So I got to be open to the fact that this love situation might grow. It might look different. And I might have to reserve my actual feelings about things and keep them to myself. And my mom understood that at a young age. Like, because if I want you to keep continuing to come to me and talk to me about certain things, I can't necessarily give you my hard feelings about a person that you love. We see the memes all the time where the girls like me sitting up talking, going back to the man that I done told my friends I'm done talking to. That happens all the time. And then once you get people all pumped up, you know what I mean? They got a battery in their back about your person. It's hard to get that. It's hard to take that, put that Energizer bunny to sleep. And I think that his cousin is operating from a space that I haven't seen in a very long time. It was very odd.
I've seen it. I don't know.
But you know what though? I got the kind of energy too. So I've never had anybody ever like. I got the cousin energy too. So it's hard to have energy. People know who to have certain energies with. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. But I've seen it. I've seen it on this show. I've seen it in real life. And that's exactly why I said what I said last video. Because the percentages say that this stuff happens all the time. And it's more about possessiveness. And it's more about that person. Not only that, but it's also a hugely negative thing to do. Because these people also... they're not going to forget this, right?
Right.
So we're talking about somebody. Right. We're talking about something that is happening at the beginning of a relationship. This is a budding relationship. This relationship just started. You don't know her. You don't know their relationship, and they have a long way to go. So why not, as an outsider, give yourself the space to make an opinion later?
I agree.
And that's another thing.
Just give room.
Just give room.
Let's let it happen.
When you bring up your mom, that's what your mom was doing. We was young.
Right.
Guess who's married now?
Right. She just gave it room.
And it's a lot of people who made comments and formed an opinion about Joe and Zar when they were young.
That's true.
And guess who's wrong now?
Because we are blissfully married.
And super married, like officially married. Like her license says that we're married. So
I can't believe it.
So this is my point.
I can't believe it.
This is my point about when I bring up these past couples like Woody and Amani, everybody jumped. They did the same thing with Woody. He not ready for this and now they married with a child.
But you know what though?
You know what I'm saying? Like people jump to these things, and again, I'm telling like we said, there is an exception to every rule. But remember this the next time we say it. 9 times out of 10, it's about that person and less about the subject, which is the person who's getting married and the person who's making these moves.
But I do want to talk about, I just said we're blissfully married. I believe we call it our love bubble. I still think we're kind of in our love bubble or whatever the case may be. But
we've always been in our love bubble.
But I think the bubble was this big before, but now I think it's house size.
I agree.
The bubble was about this big. Okay. Yeah. But now we got home-sized bubble.
Yeah.
And I think we're living in it, and it's great. And I want to normalize. And I think, and I want to be real clear. Do I think you got to be married to be happy? No. You know what I mean? I don't. I think that in the space that I am with the person that I am in, I'm happy because we are, and our marriage has a lot to do with that. Now, I am so tired of people talking about how hard marriage is.
Ugh.
I am so tired. The truth of the matter is, partnership, when done properly, is phenomenal.
Yeah.
It feels so good. What did the guy say? You're burning so much brighter when partnership is done properly.
Oh, 1,000%. I wish I could put that video in this video.
It is such a thing. And it burns me up when people want to tell you how life works. A lot of these people on here are older than 25. So they know how life works. You know what I mean? They recognize that there are ups and there are downs. And
in life. That's just life. In anything you do. You could have the dream job that you always wish for. And guess what? There will still be ups and downs and difficulties and things that you have to persevere through.
Trust me, I know. I have that job. Had. Okay. You know what I mean? And it's like, but that's what I'm saying. Like, we have to get back to the space where when we're talking about giving people advice about relationships, every time, if y'all looking to talk to somebody about love and marriage, I know I'm a good person because I tell y'all this all the time. My goal is to always keep you with your person, especially if you think that's your person.
Right.
I don't have to think it's your person, right? But if you're under the impression like this is the person I need to be with, I want to be with, whatever the case may be, I'm going to fight tooth and nail with you to keep your situation, because everybody oscillates. We all go through these changes and everything. And change can be hard. But the truth of the matter is, marriage can be easy.
Right.
Marriage can be easy. You know what I mean? And it's like you wake up one day and then you marry for 5 years. Right. You know what I mean? And then maybe it starts getting rough, you know? But the truth of the matter is, if you pick properly, if you pick your partner properly, and if we're more intentional about how we pick our partners, you can live blissfully, you can live easily, you can live lovingly. And I think that we need to have those bigger conversations, because going into people's weddings and telling them how hard marriage is such BS.
And most of it is people deflecting.
Right. Because if you're
projecting.
If I'm happily married for years, right, what I'm not going to talk to you is about how wonderful being happily married is. Like, marriage is wonderful. Marriage requires, you know, you to be intentional and support
work.
And
but
work.
What name a thing worth having that doesn't require work?
Come on.
Like, buying a house requires work.
First of all, y'all building Sims. Ain't y'all working?
Buying a house requires work. Do you hear anybody saying don't buy a house because it's hard? You know,
Call of Duty requires work.
How about that?
But y'all be doing it all day and night.
Right. Getting a job requires work. Do you ever see some people deterring somebody from going on interviews?
Building a fantasy team requires work.
I mean, it's just like this idea that a lot of it, this just goes back to, a lot of it is people projecting. Yeah. Projecting their own insecurities, their own failures onto somebody else. Because I would never sit down in front of a newlywed couple or somebody who's aspiring to be married and bloviate for an hour about how hard it is. You know, it sucks. No, your marriage sucks. My marriage is awesome.
Marriage
like,
sucks.
You know what I mean? Like, you know how many times I've had this, and this ties into what we were talking about with people giving. Be careful about who you take advice from and who you talk to about some of the moves that you make. Because I had, going back to that sibling that we had, where we had a lot of family members deter them just from moving across country. Yeah. They were living back east. They wanted something more. They wanted to do more. And they literally sat them down and tried to beat them down about the fact that they wanted to leave their good job and go across country to aspire for more. Now they're thriving. They're out. I mean, just thriving. And the thing, a lot of it was...
And choosy.
Right. And a lot of it was about, well, this is what I would do. This is what you should do because this is what life is. No, that's what your life is. You have to be really careful about who you talk to because you have to make very clear distinctions. That's what your decision-making process is. That's what your life is. That's what your marriage look like. But my marriage is not going to look like your marriage.
Yeah, and everybody says, like, don't talk to people about your marriage. But the truth is, we all got a person.
Just pick and choose.
We all got a person who ain't in the marriage, right?
Yeah.
That you talk to that is fighting for their marriage just as hard.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so it's different when you talking to somebody who fighting for it too. Because the truth of the matter is, when you ain't going nowhere, once you make the decision you ain't going nowhere, you start talking about it much differently. You start having conversations differently. You start having arguments differently. You start talking to people about it differently. You know what I mean?
1,000%. The one thing that I can draw back on when we were about to get married is, now that I'm looking at it, the people who gave me the best advice and more positive, nobody sold me a bill of dreams. Nobody sat down and told me marriage is easy and this is going to be a cakewalk, right? No one said that. But the people who gave me the best advice were happily married people. No one, and out of those people, none of them sat down and said the words, man, you know, marriage is hard. None of them said that. They didn't have to say that.
Right.
I'm an adult. Duh.
But I'm just,
you know what I mean?
Precisely.
They all gave really.
I couldn't believe that.
They all gave really sound and level advice.
I'm just still annoyed with the fact that that woman sat in Dominique's face and said, well, marriage is hard. Dominique took her time to let her know, I'm not about to be feeling.
That was her, but full disclosure.
Because she felt that.
Full disclosure, that was her response to her bringing up the subject of racism.
But and I would bet. I would bet money that Dominique felt like it was a problem, so she had to speak on it.
Yeah, because
nobody just says shit like that.
Says that the 2 moments after they walk down the aisle.
I have dated plenty of white men and met plenty of white families, and never did I feel like I had to. I mean, after some time, I made it clear, like, slow down. You know what I mean? Hold up. I'm still a black girl. I know I'm around here, but I'm around the way girl. But I do think that if she felt that way, it's because on her wedding day, she felt something.
But you know what confirmed it? The mom's response of, well, marriage is hard. They wasn't even talk. Somebody typed it out on Twitter.
Well, marriage is hard. Talk about gaslighting.
I mean, it was so unresponsive to what she said.
Which is so typical.
It's telling.
Which is so telling, which is so par for the course for people of that, some people of that persuasion. Yeah. That bothered me so deeply, especially because your son is a goddamn liar, talking about he came down to Nashville to visit his friend's family.
Why? Hold on.
Liar.
About that blatant lie that he told on his wedding day? Oh, I just came down and I visit them. I hang out with them. No, you live in their basement. What's happening here?
You would have gave him $50,000 not to get married. He's a goddamn liar. I don't like.
That was weird, y'all. That was weird. How can you?
A liar.
How is this? How do you plan to hold this secret? This is where you live. You live with these people. And it's very clear by the mom's, she didn't make the comment, but by his confession about the mom offering him $50,000, that he's a kept kid.
How about that?
And
which is probably why she feel like
this exactly. But this is more kept child behavior. Of like, I came down here, I'm living with these people, and now I'm going to lie to my wife about where I'm living.
How did you feel about Eris? I know, hard pivot. How did you feel about Eris saying that he's 39 years old, never lived with a woman?
I didn't feel anything about it. I think that...
You don't think that's a red flag?
No, I think that I know a lot of great people who have not had great relationships. And I think that I think there's a lot of things that play into finding a serious relationship, finding a serious, a promising relationship, finding a spouse. And I think that there's just a lot of factors that go into it, why somebody has not found that person or found that spouse or found that serious relationship. We have close friends and loved ones to us that I would think, we would say that they're great people and they haven't found that type of relationship. I also would say that
as somebody dating, I think that's a red flag. Like, I think I do. If I were dating, I would think it's a red flag at a certain age. Like at 25, this young woman, if she hadn't had a serious relationship, it wouldn't mean nothing to me. But at 39 years old, no, he said he hadn't been in a serious relationship. He had never lived with a woman. He said that.
I thought he said he just never lived with a woman.
Well, maybe, I don't know. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. But I still think at 39 years old, some kind of commitment you haven't made, as young as it may seem to a lot of us, which in truth it is relatively young, I would be taken aback. And I'm saying that from a space of experience. I dated somebody like that, where it was like, hell, I feel like when me and Joe moved in with each other, I was like, I don't know if Joe had lived with anybody, but when we had moved in with each other, I'm like, he couldn't have lived with anybody, because I felt like it was such a disconnect from the way I had lived that I was like, it's no way this person has shared a space with a woman. And not from a space of like being OCD or anything like that, from the warmth that it takes to be in a house with somebody else. I didn't, you know what I mean? I didn't experience that. So it's like, I think there are, to me, at that big age, it could be seen as a red flag.
I think to say like it could be, it could possibly be a concern like, I think that's fine, but to call it a red flag, I think that's a little too far. Like to say, you can call anything a concern. Oh, I haven't been in a relationship in too long. I haven't been in a relationship, or I was just in a relationship. That could be a concern. Like, that's I think there's things true. Because making a home together with somebody, there's going to be difficulties, and all of those things are going to be a part of the difficulties. So, but that's not true. To me, that everything to me is not a red flag. It's just something that is going to have to be a hurdle. Like, do I think that it's going to be something for them to work through? Absolutely. I think anybody who hasn't lived with somebody else and now living with somebody is going to be, but I don't think
people who live with people are going to have to do something.
Right. But I don't necessarily think it's a red flag, because to me, that's tantamount to saying like, well,
anything
it's like when guys walk up to a woman and say, well, you so-and-so years old and you fine. What's wrong with you? Like, it doesn't necessarily mean it's something wrong with, you know what I mean? I think love is hard to find. You know what I mean?
That's a very good point.
Yeah, I think love and serious quality relationships
are very hard
found. And I think that not everyone finds them.
Do you think they're found, or do you think they're cultivated?
I think, I'm going to say this, there's nuance to this.
Okay.
I think that it's a little bit of both. But I think initially you have to find the relationship that's worth cultivating.
Okay.
And not everyone finds that in a certain amount of time.
Okay. I'm picking up what you're putting down. I'm with that. Shaq and Kirsten. So I love that they had a little bit of chemistry there. Like, was it me?
They did. It was cute when that section opened up.
Yeah.
And they were sitting at the table and they was kind of talking and giggling with each other about the food and stuff like that. It was very clear that like, she's going to have to try not to like him if she doesn't like him. You know what I mean? He seems like a very personal person. He's Southern. He's warm. He's social. So regardless of how her attractiveness goes with this situation, I think he's going to be an easy person for her to like. I
agree. Also, shout out to her friends. Like, get her name correct. I love that. As a young woman with a name that's relatively intimidating. I appreciate that they felt this. I appreciate that they said that. Like, let's get this out the way. You know what I mean? Don't slip up or whatever the case may be.
Her name is not hard, though. You just have to pay attention.
Well, it's Kirsten.
Yeah.
Not Kirsten.
Right. You only get it wrong if you look too fast.
But Kirsten is spelled the same way.
What you mean?
Kirsten is spelled Kirsten, which is why she said it's Kirsten, not Kirsten. So I do think it would be hard to, not hard. I could see how it could be easy to mess her name up.
Yeah, I think that's, well, yeah.
Because it's semantic, but you think it from a name like Joseph, right? But it's like Intizar. But if I'm okay with being called Intizar, that's fine, right? But if I'm not, there's a problem with that. Tomato, right? To us. But to her name is Kirsten.
No, I agree.
Right?
I just don't think, I think you just have to pay attention.
I love that the friend or the cousin let her know, like, we need you to get the name correct because obviously this is something that she's probably dealt with in her life or whatever the case may be. And they want to make sure that they don't have to deal with it no more. And you got to understand that dealing with somebody with such a hard name.
Yeah, I just thought she said...
Maybe she did.
I thought she said the name Kristen, like as if people get it wrong and say Kristen.
Maybe she did.
Which I thought, but like I said,
Maybe she
to
did.
me, it's just a matter of paying attention.
Yeah, I agree. Reading is fundamental.
Right.
But yeah, I really do think that they have chemistry. But Ian, however, he wasn't giving over the top.
He gave over the top anytime I feel like he had physical interaction with her.
It made me uncomfortable.
The dance, the where he's straddling her and he's giving her this dance is a bit much. I don't feel like we needed that. And then when they were leaving and they're doing the sparklers or sprinklers or whatever you call them, he's dancing on her then, and that felt like awkward.
It felt like, did she consent to this?
It felt like it didn't feel like that to
let
me.
us know.
It felt like this isn't natural for you. That's what, for me, when I watch people, I always say I've had which I ironically told somebody on Twitter, I've had a very diverse life, right? Been around a lot of different people from various walks of life. And I feel
going to say beautiful women.
No.
Oh.
No. How'd you get there?
I saw a bee forming in your mouth.
Oh, no. From various walks of life. And I always say that if you look at my group of friends from different places that I've lived, they're like, it's a super diverse group, right? And for me, the thing that I don't care what your quirk is or what you're into or what you look like or anything like that. I find that the people that I'm attracted to are just genuinely them. Mm-hmm. So you could be super emo and wear paint on your fingers. That's true. Which we have a friend like that, a male friend like that.
Yes, we do.
Or you could be super bright and you wake up and listen to, happy kid songs in the morning to wake yourself up. Like whatever you do, if it's genuinely you can kick it. The weird thing that is really off-putting, I think, for both of us is imposters. When you're around us, but you're doing something that's not genuinely you. Even if it's weird, if it's genuinely you, I'm like, fucking go for it.
I think that's why you like the Jacksons so much.
It is. I think it is.
I also think that's why, and not to toot my own horn, but I think that's why you like me so much.
It is. Same thing with why I like your family so much, your mom, your
because they're gonna cuss
sister.
Yeah,
but because they're different in their own ways, and they're always just them.
Yeah, that's
like I've
true.
never been around them and felt like you're an imposter. You're acting a way that you don't act, and they're so different. But they're always just them. And I think the thing that turns us off to certain people is when they're trying to be somebody they're not. And that's to me, that's what Shaquille felt like.
It stresses me out.
Like, this is not true.
Should I be trying for you to be like? Am I trying in my mind to make you somebody that you're not like?
Right.
Because now that is exhausting me.
Right. Now I'm questioning
my
own viewpoint of you. Like, did I do this wrong? Like,
right. Like now, so you're a ballerina. So now I gotta say you're a ballerina.
Yeah.
Now it's stressing me out because I know that's not what you are.
Yeah. It just felt like it's not him. Because guess what? Inversely, last season or couple seasons ago, I think at the wedding, we got some historians in the YouTube comments, so let us know. I think at the wedding, Woody did something very similar.
It was cringy then.
But to me, it wasn't because
it was less cringy though.
It was less cringy because it felt like this is what you do.
It was less cringy.
Like you're the dancer guy, and his people said like he's the life of the party guy.
That is true.
It felt more genuine. Like it just felt like this is funny for her because this is what you do.
Can I say what else that I don't? And this might be particular with the black man, black woman dynamic, only because I think I've personally only seen it here. Could be with everybody else, but this is where I've personally seen it. I don't like it when people, I don't know why this bothers me so much when people lead with God. Oh, God told me this. Oh, God told me that. Well, what are you telling yourself? Like, what are you saying to yourself? What decisions are you making on your own? Because we know God know what's going on because they God. You know what I mean? So, like, what are you doing? What do you contribute to this? Why do it bother me?
I think because sometimes it could feel like somebody's trying to paint a picture for you of them. At least that's how I felt growing up in the church. Even my mom. So y'all know I grew up in the church. For people who don't know, and even my mom said, my mom is now full disclosure, my dad's a pastor, so my mom is a pastor's wife. And even she said she would go around people and they would constantly guide her. I got, and she said she would sometimes tell people like, I'm like, we can have a conversation.
Like we can talk about other stuff. I watch TV.
She's like, you don't have to paint this picture that you're a God-fearing woman around me just because I'm a pastor's wife. Like, we can talk. You can tell me, you know what I mean?
Also, I think what's bigger for me about it is that, and this is going to be so controversial, but I've said it before and I don't care. It's a lot of homosexuals, whores, and not homosexual like a bad thing. Homosexual, like, that's life. You know what I mean? People are homosexuals. And whores, because people are whores too. And addicts, and liars, and cheaters, and thieves sitting in those pews. Okay? So for you to come to me like you such a God-fearing person, I'm not Jesus Christ. I'm not collecting the hoes and the drug dealers. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just not doing it. So for me, and I'm keeping it 1,000. And for me, so when you say that, I'm just like, what are you even getting at here? Like, you know what I mean? That's not going to garner you any extra, like, oh my God, oh girl, you got you a God-fearing man. Please, it's a ton of God-fearing men that sit at the church, be kissing on you and 6, 7, 8, 9 other men and women in the Band Me to Heaven church. So it's like, and it genuinely might be his walk. So I really want to.
I do feel like
I want to give him that too.
No, I do feel like he is genuine, because I don't know if let me walk this back. I wasn't trying to say that I think he is necessarily trying to paint a picture. I think most in my walks of life, the people who do things that can make a room uncomfortable are trying to paint a picture of themselves. I genuinely think, like, when he was at the table with the sisters and he was he said, I think that God let me, he said he went there for a job or something like that to Nashville.
Yeah.
And he said something to the effect of, I think that God led me here to Nashville to bring me to this point that I'm at now with marrying Kristen and meeting my wife.
Right.
I genuinely think that
and he also said to her that, God puts people in your lives for a reason. They know, you know what I mean? And everything like that. But she could absolutely positively be a serial murderer.
She could.
So now what did God put? What's the reason God put her in your? Like, explain it to me. That's why I don't like when people leave with shit like that. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because your spirituality is so. Granted, I believe in shooting it off. I tell people all the time I believe in the universe. I believe in my ancestors, whatever. So I do believe in some way expressing that, right? But on the other hand, I also think that it is such a personal. A lot of what I do, and Joe know all the little things that I do around the house and everything like that to safeguard our house, safeguard our relationship, whatever the case may be, that I don't share. It is such a personal to me, and he can live his life. However, I still like him, and I still get him, but I do think that it's such an intimate thing. So when you're sharing the intimate moments, the conversations that you have with your ancestors, that you have with God, it bothers me.
I know, but I do think that I do think that especially on this show, people in spaces where they're meeting new people do feel like they have boxes that they need to check. Does that make sense?
And that's why I don't like it. Because if that's a box that you felt like you had to check, I seek issue with that.
But you know why, though? Because they led with that when they went to tell him about his pairing. Oh,
because they said she a God-fearing woman. But you know what that says to me? That's narcissism, when you just show up at the person that you think that person wants.
I see it a lot on this show.
Which is why I don't like it. Yeah. That's another reason why I don't like it. Because if you heard that, and then every response to every answer is, well, I'm a God-fearing man, whoop-de-whoop. Who you trying to convince?
I do see it a lot on the show, and not just about.
And this not is not a Shaq thing.
It's not a Shaq. That's what I'm saying. It's not a Shaq thing. It's not even a religion thing. I see it a lot where people will go, "Oh, I heard you have a military family. I have a military family too," and it's like that's nice, but it doesn't have to. You don't have to like.
Yeah, my daddy left me for a joint in Vietnam. So now what? You know what I mean? Here you are trying to relate. You know what I mean?
For real. Like, no, for real. That's real.
So, I don't know. I just didn't. And not to. I hope nobody's offended. That's not why we're saying this. This is just real discourse. Things we be thinking about. Around our house, okay? I don't know. I thought that. Do you think she's going to like him in the end?
I don't. I think she is going to like him because I don't think that he's going to do anything to make her genuinely dislike him as a person. But I think that just early projections, I don't think that they'll make it because there's a little bit of Jasmine in her. Mm-hmm. And I think that her not being attracted to him will be the quiet catalyst for a lot of issues that they have.
It's funny because the more I look at them together, the more I can see them together.
She's not attracted to him now.
You don't think at all?
No, she's not. And it's little things that she says, and she said something in this episode that was another little thing, and it was like, I'm sorry, what? I can't remember what
about the bald head. She like, once I got past the bald head when she was talking to her friend.
So she said, they say, well, you didn't kiss him. You turned your cheek like you told her she was going to do. And she said, well, it was for 2 reasons. No, it wasn't for 2 reasons. It was for 1 reason. The reason was you didn't find him attractive.
I didn't find him attractive.
She blew past it and then tried to couch it with, well, the other reason was I wanted him to ask me. Bullshit.
Well, she's a virtuous woman. You heard what he said.
I'm asleep. Stop.
What the hell do that even mean?
Stop.
What the hell do that even mean?
BS. The reason why you didn't allow him you didn't kiss him is because you were not attracted to him, and you cannot gaslight us like Jasmine did for a whole season, trying to all of these bells and whistles that is something else.
But after I saw the clip with the strawberry and the whipped cream, I'm very clear why she didn't kiss him in the mouth. She had like sprayed the thing in her mouth.
Oh, another thing that doesn't look natural.
Stop.
What?
First of all, it just wasn't.
It didn't look natural.
It didn't look good. So I might be with her on that. Like it don't look like something I want to. Wait. When you watch this back, you're gonna be like, she's a fool. When you watch this back, you're gonna be like, she is a fool. Why'd I just tickle myself?
I just don't think that she is attracted to him, and I think that it's gonna be the underlying thing in a lot of issues.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be a lot. We saw with Jasmine, it was everything else. It was the moon and the stars that he gotta land on the flagpole at 12 o'clock, and he didn't do this. He didn't ask me, could he kiss me? He didn't ask me, could he hug me? It's gonna be so many
but
little
he gonna
things.
say you signed up to get married.
Literally, like you signed up to marry a stranger, and the preacher says you can now kiss your bride. You know what I mean? Like, everybody doesn't ask, can they kiss on this show? Some people just go in for it. But that's what I mean by somebody. That's what I mean by somebody looking for issues. It's a little warning that you're looking for things.
Is this new? The asking to kiss?
Everybody doesn't do that.
No, I'm saying
everybody doesn't do that.
Being for real, it's relatively new, isn't it?
Yeah, everybody doesn't do that.
I've been thinking about. Granted, I've been Me Too'd in my life, so I'm not gonna say I wanted to kiss all these mother jumpers, but I don't. And maybe that's why we're in a place where people have to ask to kiss.
No, this is.
But it's kind of odd. Can I kiss you?
It's not because
you didn't pick up what I was putting down already.
Because. If he did ask you, you could have found a problem in, well, I just wanted him to be assertive and just do it.
Ooh,
like, you know what I mean?
Moving the goalposts.
It's like people move the goalposts. Like this is that. It's BS. I'm on alert for the BS signs like, oh, it was this, it was really that. Like, come on, we really know. If you thought it was fine, you would have kissed him in the mouth.
Right in the mouth.
Period.
Right in the mouth. That's it, and that's all. I hope you guys enjoyed this. We ain't got nothing else to talk about. Thank you all so much for watching our review on Married at First Sight, season 16, episode 3. If you're new here, again, make sure you bust down.
It's funny because the episodes to me don't start at the matchmaking. That is like episode 0 to me.
Well, it is episode 0 on the thing.
So that's why I don't 3 count episodes. Yeah, you're right.
Oh.
I'm just saying, in one of the other videos, you called the first episode 2.
I did.
And I was thinking like,
I did.
That don't count to me, but this is not irrelevant. We tired.
We are tired, and we missing happy hour at the BJ's.
Local American fine dining.
I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as we did. But still subscribe to this channel. We're going to get into Ready to Love. We've watched it. It's a good season already.
Ready to Love, yes.
Yeah, it's a good season already, so we got to dig on into that as well. But we love you guys, and we'll see you guys soon. Bye. Peace.